How's it going to everybody in the YouTube knife making community? My name is Mike Corson from MHC Knives, and I was just going to show you some new designs that I drew out and I cut out of some metal. I got a few things I want to talk about as far as when I did my knives. This is the one I've already put a video up about. And we're going to name this the Carolina BFK. And I don't know if you know what BFK stands for. The same thing BFH stands for. So it's a big knife. And but I like that knife. That is an excellent out in the woods for hunting, camping. I mean, it's a good size. It feels good in your hand. You can hold it back here and put your thumb right here. Or if you need to choke up on it, you can still put your thumb back here and you can choke up right there. So the knife is, I like it. It's made out of 1095, 5/32 high carbon steel. And I put 3 pinholes in it where I put some 1/4-inch pins when I do the handles. This is the first knife I ground, as y'all know in my other videos. So, and I kind of did something not knowing it, but after watching videos and studying grinds and looking at it, it's more of a it started being a flat, but what happened was I started getting my ricasso funny, and it's still not exactly right. So I went up on my belt sander to the slack part, and what it actually done was it convexed it, which is not a problem. But I need to fix the ricasso, and all I have is the Harbor Freight 1x30, and I'm not really comfortable. I don't think it's the right. I know people do it. I've seen them do it and make wonderful knives, but I just don't think it's the right thing to be grinding bevels with. I know it can be done. I mean, this knife right here, the ricasso is not that bad, so. And it's pretty straight, so I'm not, it's almost down to where it needs to come down a little bit more before sharpening, but this blade needs to be heat treated. So, I'm not disappointed in the knife, my first one. Not at all. It needs some touch up, but what I think I am going to do with this knife, I've been watching some videos. I've seen Coop, Mr. Coop, and I've seen Gal Customs. They use a file, a 12-inch double cut bastard file, and they've got a jig they made. I bought all the stuff to make the jig, and I got the file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build that jig, and then since this got to come down, I didn't go down where it needs to be. It's still pretty beefy right there, and so what I'm thinking I'm going to do to fix the ricasso to get it straight, because I can put it in that jig and put it right where I need it, I'm going to go ahead and draw file this and try to get it a little flatter, which if you look at the spine, if I can get it in the camera, if you look at the spine, it comes this nice and thick, and it comes down to a nice nice point. It's not, it's a little bit off, but it's not off enough that would really, it ain't gonna hurt the performance of the knife. So I'm not worried about that as far as the knife's screwed or whatever. But what I am going to do, I think from now on, since I'm not making no big bunch of knives like some of these guys on here, 30, 40 knives like, Chuck Richards or Gav Koo or whatever, them guys making a lot of knives, I'm not doing that. And until, if I stick with this and I start doing something with the knife making, and then I'll invest in the appropriate grinder to grind the bevels. But until then, for no more than I'm doing, just learning, I think it'd be better to do it by hand and learn how to get the grind like I want it so I can feel the grind. I think that would be, I believe with some practice, I just get better and better because I do have metalworking experience. So, that's not a problem with that. Just I believe that it'd be a whole lot better education on my part if I would do the thing by hand. But what I do love the 1x30 is I cut these out. I draw the pattern. This was on a piece of 2-inch wide by 18 inches long 1095 5/32 stick. I drew out the pattern on paper. I cut it out on, on a piece of poster board kind of paper. Cut it out, put it on the metal, traced it. Cut it out with a 4-inch angle grinder, which works lovely. I don't have a shop. I do it out in the yard. I have a wood table that I built out in the yard. And so, I'm out there in the yard doing a lot of this by hand with an extension cord. So, after the first of the year, after the holidays, I do plan on buying a building. I've seen a couple of small places I can rent, but I'm not paying rent on something. I'll just go buy a 10 by 12 by 16, 10 by 6, whatever building, and that'll be plenty. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And so, for being out in the yard, which I know there's a lot of them on YouTube that do it. So next thing I need to do is get me a forge together, because I looked into sending stuff off, but unless you're doing 50 knives and sending them off to heat, it's not cost effective. Doing a few knives, I want to get a few. This will be a knife. I think I've already got somebody that wants one of these here locally for camping. I live in North Carolina, so there's a lot of camping, fishing, and hunting, and so that's what I've had some people from my Facebook, contact me that I know, saying, hey, I like to have a certain type of knife. So I want to get good at making a quality knife. I'm using quality material, so I think using a file and jig with a file, I'll get a much straighter and truer bevel. And then we'll go from there. But that was one I already showed you. We're gonna call this the Carolina BFK, because that's a hefty knife right there. You do what you want to do with that knife, and you ain't gonna hurt it. It's just a hunk of metal there. So what I want to show you on these other ones is the ones that I've done today. I got one that came out of that same 1095 right here. This was and this is just going to be like a small EDC knife, Bushcraft type knife. And what I did find out about my 1x30, I'm cutting out templates because I wanted to get a system for cutting them out and getting them straight across here, and so what I did was I cut this out with out of the 1095, and it's everything's nice and straight, and I took it on my grinder after I cut it out with the cutting wheel. Is I took a flap wheel and I sanded it pretty much. I cut it bigger than the line where I had drew, a little outside the edge with a grinder, and then I took the flap wheel and I ground it almost to where it was supposed to be. And then but doing that freehand, you can't get them sides to be straight exactly. They're wavy, and so what I did after I got that pretty much straight is that's what the 1x30 come in good, because I put the table on it, and I took my level and put it on there and got it where that table was level on that 1x30, and so I could set this down, lay this flat on the thing, and just run it around the belt, around the edge of that, and square that up. I run the sides, and you can see as soon as you run it across the belt, you'll see where it's not straight. And if your platen is straight on behind your belt and your table is straight, that's as square as you're going to get it by doing it like that. So, but I got these that are pretty decent. So that's just I wind up putting probably a lanyard hole and some pins or something in this. But this is just the blade blank. It's been it's still rough, but it fits the hand nice. I'm probably going to go ahead and go in here and dip this a little bit, put a thumb ramp in it a little bit. So, but I'm putting some blades together that people can use. I've had some ideas from some people that and my whole family hunts, so that'd be a nice little hunter, small. So that's going to be you know, we're going to call this the small, I don't know what I'm going to call it. You know, the Flatwoods EDC or something. I don't know. We'll call it something. The next knife that I got is basically the same as this knife. It's basically the same knife. This one's just bigger. I basically, when I drew it and scanned it, the drawing onto my computer, I drew it this size. And then I scanned it on my computer and reduced the size for this one. So basically, and I changed it up a little bit when I was, just, you know, you draw something on paper, and then once you see it and start feeling it, you change it as you're grinding. I like that. Now this is just regular steel that you buy from Lowe's. It's 1/4 inch thick. I mean, I bought a piece that's 1/4 inch thick. It was 2 inches wide and it was 4 feet long. It cost me $6. And what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to use this to make my first template or my first pattern with. That way I can get it like I want it. You don't have to worry about messing up an expensive piece of steel. And I can play with it. This one is going to be just a bushcraft style knife. You know, I'm making knives with the blade profiles that I like. I'm not really copying any certain knife. I see different blade profiles, and then as they change as you're grinding them, because you'll see an area where it just looks like it. Just like when you're grinding on the grinder, it's like there's a natural way it wants to grind. I mean, it's what it just feels like to me. The metal actually, you know, it kind of lets you know what it wants to do. So I kind of go with it. I think it's a nice little. I might put a ramp in here too because it's straight. Put some jimping or something in it. But that'll be a nice medium size knife. You know, I like the way it feels on my hand. That's what I do when I'm making it, is I cut it out and then I get it about where I want it, and then I feel it in my hand, see where you know, where things will feel good, where to work. So that's that one. And then this next one is like I don't know, sort of like a drop point skinner or something. It's let me see that one. You know, that's why I like the 1x30 for. This one's got a little, where I cut a little bit too far in with the grinder, but it's a template. It's not going to be a knife. This steel is actually hardened though. This is hot rolled steel from at Lowe's, so it's actually hardened. It's not cold rolled. If it was cold rolled, it wouldn't be hard. So if I was going to try to file a bevel on this, which I don't know if that I am, because I believe with my jig and everything, I'm going to do the 1095. This has been annealed. It was annealed when I got it. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead on this with my filing jig and see if I can't get my bevel on it. And if it comes out pretty decent, I'm not going to file bevels on these. I'm just going to use them for templates. Get me some more 1095 and use these to trace out. I think that I'm going to make my templates out of this steel from, I mean, it's a little bit, it costs more than a piece of paper, but I could keep up with it. I could drill a hole in it. I could hang it on a board. And, you know, once I find whatever kind of name I want to name it, you know, if I make it and somebody likes it, and I want to build another one, I got this right here, and I can just go ahead and pop it down and go right with it, and not have to worry about trying to find a little piece of paper template or whatever. So that's basically what I've got going on. Just wanted to show you that. Sorry this video is getting a little bit too long, but that's what I've got going on. That's what happens when you don't make a video in a couple weeks. Stuff starts building up on you. So I'm learning, I'm studying, watching everything on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff going on. And until the next time, my name's Mike Corson with MHC Knives, and I'm out.